Hello, everyone in the Artfully Connected Facebook group with me, Cindy Harrison. And today we are celebrating Amy Mogish.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for being here, Amy. It's so wonderful to meet you in person, even though we can't be in person. It's that kind of world, and everybody's saying the same thing, right?
It's fun. It's fun.
It's fun. So I'm going to start off with some really complicated questions. No,
Oh boy.
not at all. Not at all. Before I do,
there'll be lots of giggles. So I'll be giggling.
we're going to just have a party here so y'all can join us. And thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions for Amy that I didn't ask and you'd like to know the answers to, please post them in the comments section and we'll try to get to them. Also, Amy is a member of this group, so she can go back and she can read any of the comments. And if you are watching the replays, thank you for being here watching the replays. And you can still post your questions and just tag her. So type her name in so it turns blue or whatever it does so that she knows that, oh, someone asked me a question, I better go check it out and answer it. Yeah. So that's all. It's very easy. And anybody can do this, right? It's not rocket science. So first off, the most difficult question of all tonight, tell us where you are from.
I'm in the hot seat. I am from northeastern Pennsylvania, a little cold patch town called Tamaqua. There's about 10,000 people, and I'm excited I grew up here, lived here, born here, raised here. And we finally have an art center in our community, which is really awesome because it's just a small town and it's a big name art center, and it, supplies artists for the surrounding areas, the other little patch towns. It's just a great place to live.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I do a lot of teaching there, and it's fun.
So, you teach in your town and
yep, at the art center. I brought decorative art to the art center. It's only open about 8 years, and it's been fun.
Awesome. So just so you know, we have about 23 people watching us tonight, and some of them are your fans, of course.
So of course my knees are knocking.
I don't hear any knocking. I don't hear any knocking, so that's good. So where did you come, like, from an artistic family? Is your parents artistic? Do you have siblings? Are they artistic?
I have, it's my mom, and my dad passed away when I was young, but I still knew about him. And I have a brother and two sisters. There's 4 of us, and all our spouses. And we have one little girl in the family, my niece. Her name is Abby, and we all live within 5 miles of each other. So we're a close-knit family, and I love that. And I was never into art or much of anything. We weren't, back when I was in school, we weren't really guided through what do you want to be when you grow up, and art was just something to do. And I didn't really have much interest in it. But my grandmother on my father's side owned a ceramic shop, and I used to love to watch her paint. And my grandfather on my mother's side, her dad, was a paint and wallpaper hanger, and he also painted murals. So I guess I was from an art background.
Yes, you were. That's so wonderful.
I loved watching both of them do their work. So.
And did they do this in the same town that you're still in?
Close, like within 5 miles, little towns outside. My grandmother was a ceramic teacher in Tamaqua, but my grandfather was a little community called Barnesville.
Cool.
And during those Depression times, he made a living doing painting and wallpapering and painting murals. And so when you think you can't survive as an artist, I think of him.
That's wonderful, because I was thinking that maybe, the murals were still visible, that you could go and see them or something. If
I know of one that still is, and that one was in his home. When him and my grandmother came back from their honeymoon, he painted Niagara Falls on their bedroom wall. And the house just recently changed hands out of the family about 5 years ago, but from what I understand, it is still there. So it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty
And he
awesome.
just mixed paints right out of like the back of his van where what he used to work. Like I think he used Dutch Boy, and he just used all the leftover paint. So it was fun to watch him work.
See, had it was in him. It was instinctually in
Oh
him to
yeah.
be able to
And
do
he
that.
was so particular. Like he was just, I don't know, it's just, I don't want to say slow. That's not the word I'm looking for, but very particular when he painted, like very meticulous. And I'm not like that. I didn't get that from him. He had patience. So it was fun.
That's wonderful. Again, like if you could preserve some of that history with a photograph of whatever, if they let you, that would be really
Yeah, I
cool.
have a few photos of the painting. So
Oh, cool. So thank you again for everyone who's joining us tonight. Amy says, I saw in one of her posts, she says she's an open book. So feel free to ask any questions in the comments area, and we will try and get them answered for you tonight. Who would you say, or which artist would you say influenced you the most? It doesn't have to be in the decorative painting world. It could be your grandfather. It could be your grandmother.
actually, it is in the decorative painting world. My first interest in decorative art, I didn't know it was decorative art, but as a newlywed, I went to craft shows and I thought, wow, look at all these painted pieces. I had no idea what it was, but did a little research. No computers at that time. Found it to be toll painting, and I went to a local college for a 6-week course in toll painting and made my first piece, and that was in 1990. And I've been painting ever since. And then I found Steph's Folk Art Studio in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I frequented that as often as I could. And Maxine Thomas, I was I stalked her pretty much. I went to every class she had for years and years and years, and classes of hers at conventions in New Jersey, and I was one Delaware, just at Steph's a lot. And a lot of my techniques start with what she has taught me, and I love her to this day. I still paint her designs when I can, and yep, I would have to say Maxine inspired me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
She is an inspiration. Most definitely. I
But
mean,
then at conventions, I took from many different artists, and even at Steph's, and just over the years, like, you know how it is, everybody, you learn from everybody. So it's great to have all different styles and techniques and people to learn from.
it definitely is. Definitely is. When did you realize that you had that that you wanted to paint and do that kind of stuff? I mean, was it
Um,
just when you got married, or was it before you got married? Because you said as a
no,
newlywed.
as a newlywed, I wanted to learn to paint, and I painted for about 20 years or 25 years before I decided, hey, I'm going to try and do this, make a pattern on my own. And boy, I didn't realize how much work went into it until I started to do it. And I did realize you need it to draw. So over the years, like, my drawing skills still lack a little bit. So I could just call it whimsical and I go with it. That's probably the part that I still struggle with, but it's decorative art and it can be whimsical or cute, or Santa could be out of shape.
So you started painting before you got married because you were going to the craft fairs.
Right.
And then how long did you say it took you to go from painting other people's designs to designing your own?
20 to 25 years. So I started putting pieces, like I would take pieces from one artist and piece from another, and then put them together and paint it for somebody, like at a craft show or something. And then um, I would take a crock of Maxine's and then add my own pumpkin to it. So it just gradually started teaching myself how to design, how to do that, how to put colors together, what colors work good together, things like that. I started really finding I would say about 20 years into it. And then when I was confident enough to make my own pattern, I sent it into the decorative painter. And as I always say, my knees were knocking, and it was, I don't have it sitting here in front of me, but it was called Brown Bear. I forget what year it was. And the editor called me, and boy, that was an exciting day. I just thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. It was my first design and my first published design then. So that was awesome.
That's so fantastic. Yeah, I know what the feeling's like when you get that phone call and it's like, why are they calling me? And then you find out that's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. My family couldn't live with me for a while. Like, oh, there's Amy calling again.
Did you save that issue?
I saved it. I had it framed. I bought extra copies.
That's good.
My poor niece, when she inherits all my painted stuff in my book, I don't know what she's going to think.
Well, I hope she treasures it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
The next question is, what is your favorite subject matter?
There's two, like Christmas or fall are my favorite seasons. Pumpkins, Santas. I wouldn't say primitive or country, but maybe a mix of both. Whimsical, adding some little charming details, that kind of thing.
Cool.
I try to shoot for like a little bit of realism, but it will never be realistic. It's just, if it's an orange, it's going to look like an orange. Or if it's a rabbit, it'll look like a rabbit, but it will be whimsical. So.
and that makes it very fun. It's like, it makes it more fun. Let's see. What is your favorite medium?
Acrylic. And then acrylic.
You didn't even hesitate on that one.
No, I love acrylics the most. Although I do a lot of color pencil, and I do something called chalk art, but it's really color pencil. So I enjoy acrylic first, then color pencil, then this chalk art.
And you say chalk art is like colored pencil?
I'll show you. This is one of the pieces. I call it chalk art.
So up and closer. Nice, up higher, but yeah, pretty. I saw that.
That's the piece I'm going to be demoing this Friday with you. But chalk art was developed at our local art center. The paint and sips were big, the entertainment arts. And I kept saying, I'm not an entertainment artist, and I can't compete with that. And I went back and forth with the director, and we came up with something that we can create in 2 hours that's still done with decorative art, like with the line drawing and instructions. And it's simple enough, but yet it's a nice piece that you walk away and it's a really nice piece. So we came up with a chalkboard background, and that we would use pencils on it. And when the pencils hit the wood, they look like chalk. So all the designs were created using this, typically only using 5 to 7 pencils. So
that's very affordable.
I call it chalk art because it looks like chalk when, it's finished. But
yeah. And 5, that's very affordable. Mm-hmm. And to mix the both. Because Laura's here. Hi, Laura. And she said, do you combine them? And clearly you do. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's the answer. Yeah. Cool. Would you say, what is your favorite technique?
Like you mean like as far as floating color or something like that?
It could be whatever you want it to be.
I enjoy acrylics. I'll tell you, base coating is not my favorite. I don't know if it's anybody's favorite. I want to get to the good stuff. So I like adding the shading, the highlighting, the details, and bringing it to life. And then once varnish hits it, I'm happy. Like it's just.
So how do you have a certain way to shade and highlight? Do you float? Do you side load? Do you do, there's so many different ways to get that.
I mix about a bunch of different teachers I've learned from, but I like to use putting the water down first and then adding your color on top of it with whatever brush you're comfortable with, just getting the color there and then mopping it. I even float sometimes with a liner. So that's what we're working on. So the water barrier to me is important. I like, to do that.
So you float with the liner, that you're one of those people.
I'm one of those people.
I know. I went with Arlene Linton. I was in her class and she had like a 20-aught filbert brush, and she says, "Okay, now we're gonna side load." And I'm like, "What?" And I said it with my outside voice in the convention room, and she just looked up at me and like, "Oops." Yeah, I'm like, I learned, but I'll tell you. What is your favorite brush?
The angular, the 5/8 angular.
Oh,
Because I'll use it upside down, on a chisel, flat. I'm lazy when I paint, so I'll use it all which ways just so I don't have to pull out another brush. So I like that brush.
cool. Do you have a special brand or?
I like to use Sharp, but it doesn't matter. I'll try different brushes, but I do like Sharp brushes, especially their Bringle blender brushes.
Ooh.
I like those for making bears, like teddy bears, the scruffy part of it. I like it for dry brushing, larger pieces, making trees. They're just perfect. They're perfect new and they're perfect all scruffed up. So I can say that's another favorite too, the Sharp Bringle. They're named after Ronnie Bringle. So
Cool. Yeah, I have some of those. I've not ever made a tree with them, but it sounds very intriguing. Sounds wonderful. What is your best tip? Like if you were to
oh
give
boy.
someone a tip, do you have a wise words for a beginner painter or any painter for that matter?
My students that come to my house would probably say every time they pour out paint, I use DecoArt paints. I say pea size, like squirt out a pea size. That's all you'll need. That's not really a tip, but I could just hear them if they're listening. That's what they would say, pea size. As far as a tip, for me, it's just make sure you have your water down first before you do any of your floating or shading, because your paint's just going to drag and you're not going to be happy with it. So that water barrier to me is the ticket.
So if I understand, so on your piece you'd put clean water on the piece first, and then you go load your brush like
Yes.
regular, and then you come back on there.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So that helps. I know that
And
helps.
with penciling, I would say I know I think Kelly Horning uses a duller pencil, but I like to use a sharp pencil. So it depends who you work with, but I like a sharp pencil.
That's good to know too, because you're right. Different teachers use different things. Paula is here tonight, and she said her best tip is how to remove the protective wrap from a new bottle of paint. What's your trick, Amy?
Yeah, I think that's I'm thinking that's Paula, she lives locally and was in one of my classes at the art center. And I said, watch this. And I just, how you turn the paper off in the opposite direction. So the little
And
thing.
voila. That is a good tip. And I did learn that at some point later after many years of, struggling and tearing.
Stylus in it. And
yeah. And then the stylus would, that would bend, or the paddle knife would bend or something. Yeah. So thank you everyone for coming, but please do ask some questions. Feel free to ask more questions.
Ask away.
Otherwise, it's going to be a really short program, people. So, I've gone through like 75% of my questions. So go ahead.
Would you like me to show a couple of things?
Yeah, sure. I was gonna, go right ahead. Show us some things, Amy.
Okay. So I showed you the chalk art and what's coming up this Friday. And we have this coming up through Cindy Harrison's Zoom classes. They're can you see them?
Yeah.
The Mr. and Mrs. The cookie maker and the cookie taker. So there's still, is it 5 seats open?
I think so.
5 seats open. So we'd like for you to join us. You should come and join us. And we'll be doing the water technique and shading with different brushes. So you'll learn that. What else? Then we have
We have a lovely question saying,
Okay.
what brand of colored pencils do you prefer?
The Prismacolor Premier. I haven't really tried any of the others, so not saying that it won't be something in the future, but I do enjoy the Prismacolor. Yep. And that's what I use for the chalk art and for colored pencil. Here's a color pencil piece. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, tip the top in and the bottom out. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
So that's acrylics first and then color pencil.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. And that was all the Prismacolor Premier.
Do you get another Laura question? Do you get your ornaments from Sheila Bergner?
Sheila Landry.
Ah, Sheila Landry.
Yeah. Most of, I wouldn't say it's, a lot of the smaller pieces come from Sheila. Like we just did a spool holder. That's from Sheila. All my clubs, the wood's from Sheila. A lot of them have this shape. They're the scalloped shaped. That's from Sheila.
And what is that piece?
This piece is going to be, it's done in chalk art. So what you're learning on Friday. So if you join us, then on the blog in about 2 weeks, this piece will be free to everybody, the instructions. So that's coming up.
It almost looks like a shaker thing because you've got the glitter at the.
There's glitter at the bottom. Yep. So that's done in chalk art, which is just colored pencil on wood. So that's coming up for everybody.
Tell us what your blog's all about.
That's another hobby. It's one of my favorite things to do. Some people are not familiar with blogs, but it's more or less just, it's like a page on my website. And what it has on it is just, if you scroll through, it's different topics. It's like opening up a magazine. So there may be painting topics on how to refinish a chair. I'm painting a cabinet today, a tour of my studio, how to use colored pencils. There's videos and demos and free patterns. And I can just explain it like it's like a magazine. You find a favorite hobby, whether it be painting, bicycling, skateboarding, reading books, there's a blog out there for everybody. So I became a blogger on art and home. You can find a lot there. One of my favorite things to do on there is every month, I call it the recipe card project. So I found vintage.
Lean the top in. There you go.
Vintage recipe cards I use. That's why it's called it the recipe card project. But you can make this design or any design you want. Every month I come out with a design about food and I paint and pencil it. Every month I include a recipe that you can, or a recipe, instructions you can purchase. And I have a free video on a technique. So even if you don't want to purchase the pattern, you have the video on how to do any of these techniques. So that's on my blog every month.
Well, and the pattern packet's available on your website.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Linda's asking, I am assuming about the scalloped edge ornament, if that's a 2-piece or a 1-piece.
It comes in 2 pieces. It comes in 2 pieces and there's instructions with every pattern. There'll be one with this one and how to glue it together. And Sheila offers a video on how to glue it together. So it's just an inside that pops into the scalloped edge and you glue it. That's it.
Cool. Neat. You were going to show us something else?
Yep, I'll show you. Let's see. Do you want me to show them what's coming in February?
Not yet.
Okay. Another thing I do is I took some of my designs and Sheila Landry actually helped me edit them. And I made, there's 10 different designs in rubber stamps. Now I'm not sure if you
Oh, cool. I didn't know you were a rubber stamp artist.
Yeah, no, I'm not a rubber stamp artist. I try, but I love them to use them as accents on cards and things. And there's 10 rubber stamp designs and they're available on my website. And next year there's 20 more coming. So.
And
That's
and Sheila Landry, she does the rubber stamps for you too, or she sends them
she
somewhere?
just edits, like I send her the line drawings and she edits them, because at the rubber stamp company, they're made in the USA. They have certain dimensions and things they need to fall into. And that's really not my strong suit. So Sheila has offered, she has a program that does it. She offered to help me and she assists in it with me. But they're my designs and they're available through me, but they are made in the USA.
Cool.
And now that was the little deer. He's my
That's
favorite.
exciting though.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's yet another level.
Oh, just another one. And the 20 that are coming out in next year, I hope to find someone, if anybody's interested and really loves rubber stamps, to make up a few things and help me promote them. So I'll be looking for someone to help me out with that.
Oh, sweet. So how do we sign up for that job?
I'll make sure I post it on Facebook, on all the groups, and just say the new stamps are out. I'm looking for someone. So keep your eye out on Facebook.
Cool. That I do love rubber stamps too. And I know that we can use them in the decorative painting world. And I've been to the conventions, conferences and stuff where stampendists,
Yeah.
and they would do the stamps and then you can paint on that.
On that, yeah. I think
Like,
Deb Antonick just did something like that, I saw.
I think I did my first one with Chris Hoy when she came to New England. Yeah, and she did it with hydrangeas.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that piece. Love that piece. So it's really.
So that's what I'm hoping for, someone that has, I love to be creative and I would consider myself a creative person, but stamps and putting together with painting, I'm like at a loss. I'm like, okay, what do I need? So other than ink and stamp, I need somebody's help.
There you go. Well, we'll just have to get you some help.
Yeah.
I would help if I wasn't already totally booked, because it would be a lot of fun. So I might find some time in there. When are they coming out? February?
Next year sometime. They're in the works with Sheila right now. Once she's finished, no rush, Sheila, if you're watching, we're good. She has a lot on her plate. We'll get them rolling. They're mostly fall and Christmas designs, so they'll be out definitely by the next season that rolls around.
Oh, cool. Then maybe I will find some time. Let's see. We have Nancy here, and we're up to 50 people today. So thank you all for joining us. If you're just popping in, the replay will be available right after this, so you can watch what you missed. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section, and we will answer them for you tonight. And if not, Amy will come back during the week and whatnot and answer them then. But Nancy has put down here, after applying your acrylics and when dry, do you apply a sealant or anything before applying the pencils over the acrylics?
No, there's nothing that I apply working on it. I know there's fixatives that you can apply that are workable fixatives. I don't use those. What I do use when I'm completely finished with it is a final fixative. And I do use gloss, which I'm not like a shiny glossy girl, but the gloss finish really makes the pencils pop out, the finish. So I would not use a regular acrylic spray over pencils. And if Paula's still watching, I made that mistake once in a class, had them spray it with an acrylic spray, and all the orange pencil disappeared, like it wasn't even on there. And I made good with everybody's pieces, but it was a little embarrassing, and I just thought it would work and it didn't. So that was lesson learned. So always use a final fixative. I use Grumbacher, but it doesn't matter what brand, as long as it's a fixative that says on it, 4-color pencil.
And not an acrylic sealer finish.
Right. Even though the acrylic is the background, definitely use a pencil sealer, which is typically a fixative.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Here's a question for you. Is there a medium, a subject, or a technique that you would like to try that you haven't tried yet and that you'd like to try someday?
Watercolor is one of them. because we're so, I think I guess I can't speak for everybody. We're very tight as decorative artists, and to be loose and do watercolor, that's something I would like to do. I actually have 2 classes that I signed up for. It's through the Jeannie Oliver courses, Danielle Donaldson. So I hope to take that. Maybe over Christmas I'll take the course, but I hope to be a looser painter.
That's not always an easy thing to do.
No.
I did 3 days of Beth Wagner. I hosted her. I didn't do her. I hosted it. And you know how loose she is.
Yes, it's
She
beautiful.
was talking about Roz Stalcup and how she took classes from Roz. And I'm like, yeah, when I saw my first Roz line drawing, I was mortified because I was raised with Maxine Thomas,
Yeah.
you know, and Gail Anderson. And Maxine was the tip of the cream of the crop, and she still is. That everything was very, very rigid. I mean, this is what you're doing, and this is where you're putting it, and this is how you do it.
In the lines, and yeah.
I loved it, right? And then I go and open up a Grand's Garden book, and I'm like, what kind of line drawing?
Oh,
Very loose.
yeah.
What is your well, now let's talk about what you're doing for Artful Webinars.
Oh, I don't have the piece right here.
Oh,
I know where it's at if you want me to run and get it quick.
if you want to.
Okay, give me 2
I'll
seconds.
do a quick commercial.
I know where it's at.
Okay. So for this tomorrow night, I'm actually doing a paint along real time, so you can sit and paint with me. Basically, you just need an ornament, and you need some canvas paper or even cardstock, and we're going to decorate our ornaments.
Oh, pretty.
With this is canvas paper, and I just painted on it to coordinate with the ball. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow night. But Amy will be doing her chalk demonstration on Friday night. So there's a lot of, we're chock full of stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Definitely a lot of good stuff here in the group. So show us now.
Okay. So this is the webinar piece in March.
That's for the convention. I just love your gingerbread. I love all the gumdrops and everything around there.
And what did I put on the inside? I did a little bit on the inside.
Oh, nice. Is that in the pattern?
That's in the pattern.
The little extra something. And so that's for the convention. And then you have another piece that you're doing in February.
Now, everybody that's here, this is the first time anybody's seeing it.
You're getting a reveal.
This is the reveal. This is called Carrot Anyone.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, there he is. He's not going to give up his chocolate bunnies, but he'll give up his carrots. So, and that's the cutouts by Sheila, and they're like large ornaments. They're pretty big. You can see it's pretty big. So he's coming up.
So you could probably put him in a stand too, right? You could have.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good idea.
You know, one of those bases for the clipboards.
Yeah.
You could probably stand him in that.
That's a good idea.
And then decorate him with a bunch of Easter eggs around it, or flower Easter, you know, for
now
your.
Now you have my wheels turning.
For your holiday decoration.
Oh, I'll have to come up with something really fun for that.
He's so adorable. I love the chocolate bunnies in his
And of course, look, it's a denim pouch because I love denim. So he has a little denim pouch. So
he's so furry.
He's coming up with February 18th, I believe it is.
Cool. So I'm gonna have that on the I'm gonna have that listed on the website real soon. Hopefully before the end of this week.
Yep.
You can start looking for that the beginning of the weekend. Where else are you teaching?
Right now it's just through the Zoom, and at our local art center, usually every other month. And once COVID is over, back in my home studio. So just waiting for that. It's waiting for everybody.
How many students can you have in your home studio?
7.
That's
7
nice.
students. Yeah,
That's
it's
a nice
nice.
crowd.
I'm very fortunate to have, well, it's just my husband and I, it's the 2 of us, and we live in a 4-bedroom, just a little cottage. It's like really small. So I said to him one day, hey, how about if we make the whole upstairs my studio? So we did. So it's 2, it would have been 2 bedrooms, but there's a bathroom on this floor, and I use the one as like my office. And the other large room, which would have been a master bedroom, is where I teach and have my studio. So it's a lot of fun. I have a large table. I worked at a furniture company, and they made furniture. Well, they didn't make furniture, they imported furniture. But the building used to be, it was an underwear manufacturer, if you could believe that. So in the leftover furniture from the underwear factory, there was this large break room table, and it was big and wooden. And I thought, I have to have that. So I went into my boss and said, can I have the table from the break room? And he's looking at me like, we have brand new furniture that you could buy. I'm like, no, I want that table. So he's like, well, yeah, but I don't know why you would want that, because it was like worse for wear. It was needed some work. So it's about 10 feet long. We got it. My husband picked it up one day and we put it in his garage and we refinished it. Then we had to get it into the house. This was the whole, he said to me, once we got it in the house, we got it up a closed in staircase, we got it in. He said, that is never leaving that room. So that's the story of the table. But it was funny when my boss said, are you sure you want that table? I'm like, yeah, I want that table.
So when you refinished it, did you paint anything on it? You just left it plain?
I left it, we sanded it, washed it down, sanded it, did all that. And then I put a whitewash over it. So now typically there's a tablecloth on it all the time when we're painting, but there's just a whitewash on it.
So that we had Tracy said she would have wanted that table too.
It has a drawer in it. It's so big. It's heavy.
How deep is it?
I'm sitting at it now, probably about 2.5 feet.
That's average.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
It's just really long, and it doesn't have, like, there's no leaves. It's all one big long run. So it's really nice.
And that makes it hard to get it up the stairs, of course. around the doors, you know.
Around the doors, we had to take the railing off the staircase. Yeah.
What an adventure.
It was.
And everyone, by the way, everyone loves your rabbit, your bunny.
Oh,
and
good.
Let's
I
see.
hope you can all join me.
Someone just said, Brenda just said that she just ordered your cookie maker and cookie taker. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
That's cool. So thank you all. If anyone has any questions, I have 2 more left. Well,
okay.
Sort of. If you have any more, if you have any questions for Amy or want to know a little bit more about her, please put it in the comments section. But thank you all for coming and joining us tonight. It's fun to hang out with the artists, I'll tell you. Is there anything else that is something you would like to share with us about your artful journey and you know how you got to where you are today?
You know what, as I look back, you think like, I realize now everything that happened was for a reason and a step in the process of becoming, and I still have a lot to learn and grow and do, and you know how that is, you always want to learn something more. But every step, like from taking that first class at a local college to finding, I painted at a local art studio every week for years. Every Tuesday night between this time and this time, I would go, and going through that experience, and then finding out what the Society of Decor Painters was, finding Steph's folk art studio and going there maybe once every quarter to learn. Then just friendships. I became friends with a few people, started traveling with them to conventions, and then finding more about how to run, like I worked at Della Weatherman's booth with my friend Jane Allen, and I think there's a few others in there. Our patterns were in her booth, and then we helped Della, and I learned that. Like everything I did was just a step on the journey. And I'm glad I went through every experience learning about deco art paints, one paint versus another. Even finding wood craftsmen, like I always believe if you're going to paint something that's an heirloom piece that takes you a long time, you want to put it on really good wood. You don't want to waste your time on something that's not good. Same with brushes. I mean, work with what you can afford, the best you can afford. A brush means a difference. Work within your means, of course. You don't start out with everything, so work with what you have. Right now it's really hard with getting the paint. I get that, but we'll all work together, and we'll get through it.
I posted in the group if anybody needed paint to post, that they need it, and if someone has it, then they might ship it to you. I have extras
like
of
in
a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. So if there's any paint you need, post it in Artfully Connected and tag me in it, and I will see if I have an extra bottle and I'll send it to you.
Or if someone else can see that you need it, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll all get through it.
So the question of the hour is, does the bunny have a name? Barbara Bunzy is asking.
I think he needs a name. I know the name of the pattern is going to be Carrots Anyone, but I don't know. What should we name him, Barbara?
Maybe we should have a contest.
Yeah, maybe we should. He needs a name.
Yeah, we can pick the name out when we have the group gets together to paint him with Amy.
Yeah, we could do that. That would be fun.
Is the bunny in acrylics and colored pencil? Is it just one, or is it mixed?
Just acrylics.
Just acrylics.
And there's a lot of we'll learn how to create denim. Where is it again? And we'll do fur, a lot of fur. We can change the nose up if we want to, do different noses. So this is little feet.
He is just adorable.
He has leg warmers. How about that? He has those 1980s leg warmers.
Ready for that workout, right? After the question is, after COVID, would you travel teach?
Depends how far it is. I'm a little hesitant right now, but it's not off the plate. It's not, something.
And then Laura says, thank you for the pictures in your pattern packets. It helps so very much. And she also added, who were you awestruck with as a student besides Maxine?
Ronnie Bringle was another one I took a lot of classes from. Ellen Stamilio. I can't think of it. Rosemary West was another one. There were so many though. There's even some like I admire, like Rebecca Bear. I can't paint a flower to save my life, but I've tried and I think she's brilliant and her flowers are beautiful and she's an awesome teacher. So there's so many people, so many, but I think of the colors of Rosemary West, the style of Ellen Stamilio. Now I love like Lynn Andrews. I just took a class with her and she's awesome. There's just so, I know I'm not mentioning everybody, but I've learned from so many.
Well, it's kind of hard because it is a wild card question. You don't want to, there are so many.
There's so many.
And with the number of years that you've been painting, everyone has, you've taken all in from everyone, mashed it together, and then found your own style. So yeah, that's definitely very hard. Linda's asking where you located. Do you want to do it again? We do say it at the beginning of the program, but go ahead.
That's fine. I'm in Northeast Pennsylvania, a little coal town. They're calling patch towns around here, Tamaqua. And it's a fun place to live. I was born here, lived here, raised here, went to high school here, got married there. Still here. I'm a small town girl and I love it. I love being a small town girl.
And with a close family, which always makes the world a difference for sure.
Yeah, it sure does.
So
I'm all different. Like I have all my my brother and my two sisters, we have such different personalities. And my mom's always like, I don't know how you're all like siblings. We're into different things, interests, but when we get together, we have a blast. We have a good time.
That's what makes the world go around. And that's fine, Linda. You're here now. That's all that matters. So how can people find you? I did put in the description of this post her website and her Facebook page.
Okay.
What kind of stuff will we see on your Facebook page or your business page?
On my business page, I do, my personal page is where I'm mostly friends with everybody because that's where I started. So if you just want to visit Amy Mogish, you'll get the same information you'll find on my business page because I don't want to leave anything out. Another place I work through is a group on Facebook called Create with Classic Amy Joanne. And that's where if you want to post anything you made artfully, especially classic Amy Joanne patterns, feel free to join on there and post what's going on. Where else? Instagram. I have a page on Instagram. I just started on the Parlor. Don't fully understand that one yet, but I'm there. Let's see. Pinterest. On Pinterest, I started a business page. And on YouTube, I have almost all my videos that are part of the recipe card project and others are on YouTube. And it's all under Classic Amy Joanne. So wherever you are, if you put in the search engine Classic Amy Joanne, you will find me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if you haven't, I don't know, books? Have you put out books?
Yeah, there was, it was a couple of years ago when books were popular. Not that they aren't still now, but they were around, I think, a lot more then. I think there's 4 or 5 books. All of them were done with someone else. There was a book out with Jane Allen, myself, and Wendy Young. So there's some sculpting in that book. 2 other books were done, I think, with just Jane Allen, and there was others that were just ornaments done with a group of artists. So yeah.
So
you're in my home chest as well.
And I'm bad for not having done my homework to realize that. Yep. So do you like working with Quickwood or do you do paper clay? What's your?
I've only played with Quickwood with Wendy, and I have 2 or 3 patterns out with that. But I'm nothing to the extent that Wendy does, and I did learn from her, and she's magnificent. If you want to learn how to sculpt, she's your person. But I do have 3 patterns that come with videos. So if you like to learn how I use the Quickwood, you can watch those. I do have from Barb Jones, her paper clay to play with. I haven't done it yet, Barb, but if you're on here, I really want to play with that soon because I just love her little snow jobs. So.
They are adorable. And she's also one of the artists for Artful Webinars coming up in February with her ornament. Yeah. So you can check that out too. So what else can we talk about? I know that there are a lot of people still here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them and we will get them answered for you. What kind of things, I mean, I don't even know anymore. I'm trying to come up with new questions. Usually the audience helps me out here. I could really use some.
As you can see, everybody, I giggle a lot, but that's okay. It just makes it fun.
That is right. And we're going to have a lot of fun in the class when you do the, you can show it to them again, the cookie taker and cookie maker.
They are here. Let me show you one at a time. This is the cookie taker. And he Santa, of course, and everything is tucked inside of his belt. He has a little bear in there. So the candy canes, of course, are my favorites, and a little mouse in the foot. If you don't like mice, you don't need to put him on, but he's there. So that would be a lot of fun to make.
I think the mouse is adorable, and I like that he's munching on a gingerbread.
Gingerbread. And then, of course, Mrs. Claus, the cookie maker, she has, I don't know if you can see her socks, striped socks, and some garland. She's already, and if you notice, she has that little smirk on her face. If you've painted along in any of my patterns, my pilgrim ladies, everybody has that smirk. And it's my mom. It's her smirk, although she says she doesn't smirk. So now I put it on everything. So you do not need to make the little smirk, but that's why that's there. Just to kid around with my mom. So Mary
I
says, "Oh,
love
there's
it.
mom's smirk." Well, there it is.
I love it. Linda's asking, are you a brush collector or a paint collector? Which do you have
Wow.
more of?
I have to say paint, but I am kind of a brush hoarder too. I don't know. If you talk to my students that come here weekly, they're going to say paint because it's just, you don't even want to see that. But I do use, if you notice all my pieces, it's mostly all the same colors. So I can't say all the paint in my paint cupboard is a lot from different teachers and different classes and different collections over the 30 years. So it looks like I have a lot, but I really only use maybe 30 colors, if that. I'll show you this piece while we're here. This one I made up over the summer. It's called Claws Incorporated. I don't know if you can see it there. So it's a Lazy Susan. And there's probably only like 15 to 17 colors on there. But they all look different because of the way you layer them. So that's one of the more popular pieces that I've created.
I love all the little elves.
And there'll be lots more little elves. And the elf is coming out in a rubber stamp too.
Oh, cool.
So he's coming.
So I have a question here. Thank you, everyone, for helping me out. So did you or will you exhibit at shows and conventions eventually?
Eventually, probably New England Traditions would be the one that I would go to first.
Mhm.
I did convention with Wendy and Jane when our book came out in Ohio at Hoot, and it was a hoot, but let me tell you, it was a lot of work. And at that time, I was working full time, plus teaching at the art center, plus designing, plus doing a book, and plus getting ready for that. I really don't know how I did it. I did it all because even now I'm a part-time artist. I still work part-time. And I'm finding like, oh my gosh, I can't get everything done. So
Yeah,
I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or
no.
I don't know if that's the reason, but
It happens. It happens. You find out the real world always cuts into your painting time.
yeah.
How
But
much?
I do I enjoyed doing the convention. I enjoyed setting up the booth. So,
Yeah.
that's still something I would like to do.
How much time do you have? Cindy's asking, how much time do you have to devote to your designing?
Not as much as I'd like. Um, the sad part about running a business is you spend more time in the office part of it than you do on the painting and designing. And I'm not complaining because one supports the other. You need both, you need a balance, but I really wish I had more time. My sketchbooks are full of ideas, just scribble down words, little drawings that I drew on a napkin. Anytime something comes to mind, I do write it down, and hopefully someday it'll all come together. So,
Yeah. And then you'll have a whole bunch of designs out there.
yeah. It's
Um,
surprising when I put all my designs on my website a couple of years ago, there's over 200. And I thought, wow, how'd that happen? But
boom.
it happens.
It does. Another question is, what type of finish do you use with wood?
Over top of acrylics, I loved, oh, they don't make, Right Step, was it? Right Step varnish.
Yep.
Now there's a company, it has a purple label. I can't remember the name of it, but also I use Deco Art varnish too, any liquid varnish, but they're my three favorites.
That's as long as you don't put pencil on.
Right. Pencil is strictly spray. I learned my lesson with that.
Yeah, I think I would have just done like the Deco Art Americana acrylics.
Yeah. And it was funny. The whole pumpkin, the orange color just disappeared. All you could see was the line drawing.
Wow.
So lesson learned.
Yeah. I did that with ink one time. I put ink pen on and sprayed it and it all disappeared. I'm like,
Went away.
oh. Okay, Cindy is saying, I love the inspiration of your mom. And Nancy's asking, you mentioned you side load with a liner. Can't remember if you mentioned which size liner. That's a good question. That's a really good point.
It's a good question. It's it's not really a side load on a liner. What I do is I'll wet the surface first, make sure your surface is damp, and then put your paint on your liner brush or small round or whatever you're using for a tight area. Like on a Santa Claus, as I've been showing you, their little round noses. If I want to float color on there, I'll wet the surface first, drag my brush into paint, whether it be a liner or a small round, toss it on my palette paper a little bit to get the paint through the bristles, and then apply it to the nose, just in that tiny, tiny area. And it works like magic. You're not trying to fit a big brush in the area. The water lets it bleed out a little bit so it looks like a float. And there you have it. You have your shade. So just the water is enough. Does that help?
Very interesting. Yeah, very cool. So a lot of people are praising you.
Oh, thank you.
So you can go back and you can watch that.
Well, I will not watch myself, but I am going to look at the comments.
You can read the comments. They might not all show up. Facebook is doing a weird thing and they're choosing what comments they feel you should look at.
I know, I saw that and I thought, what's up with this?
Yeah, so half the comments disappear and you have to really watch the video in real time and put real time to have all the comments show up.
Okay.
It's really strange, but you can turn the volume down.
I wanted to encourage everybody too, because of the way Facebook is and, showing things and not showing things. If you're not a part of, you don't have your email attached to my blog or my newsletter, I have an email. It's classicamyjoanne@gmail.com. Please let me know and I'll add you to those, because Facebook doesn't always show you everything that I'm showing. And if you don't want to miss out on anything, you'll always get the newsletter and you can always visit my blog and everything will be there.
Cool. So that's a good thing for y'all to know. And I typed it into the comments, classicamyjoanne@email.com.
Gmail.com.
Gmail, sorry.
Gmail.com. That's okay. That's also, if you send me your email to that email, I'll add you to the newsletter and I'll send you a free pattern. So like through email, there's a pattern that I send to people that correspond with me. So I will send you that pattern.
That's so sweet. Lovely. So we are just a few minutes to the hour. And so if there's any last minute questions you would like to ask Amy, you can type them in the comment section. But it was so lovely. And I can't wait till, net is back up and running. Hopefully it'll happen in 2021. Hopefully by then everybody will have been vaccinated and all this other good stuff so that we can get together. And I'm only 45 minutes away. So I can come down and we can give each other a big hug.
Finally.
It's what I think I miss the most. I love this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've closed the gap of the universe and I can, meet people all over the country.
And I do hope this sticks around too. I like,
well, a lot of people are telling me not to ever stop. So I guess I'm going to keep going as long as they want me to. But I do enjoy the hugs. There's nothing like a real convention. There's nothing like getting together with your chapter and stuff like that, because that really
finding all the wonderful stuff and learning all the things. Yeah, just a great environment.
Yeah. First time doing one of these. Very interesting. Well, hey, Brenda, I hope you find it interesting enough to come back and do it some more. This week is full. We've got tonight with Amy, and then tomorrow night I'll be showing you how to turn your tired old ornaments into a more decorative piece and refresh them. And then also Friday night, Amy again, and show us the piece once again, Amy.
I'm going to be demonstrating this, but then you will be able to do this piece when I send it to you in my blog, and that will be a free pattern. So
that's cool. So, but there is a pattern for the other piece, right?
Yes, there is. Yep.
So you can go on to Amy's website and you can order the pattern for the candy cane and
Yep.
piece. What's it called?
Sweet Wishes.
Sweet Wishes. So go on to her website and order that. And then after you watch it, and typically I let the videos, or because you're going to do it live, but there'll be a recording because Facebook records everything that goes live. And typically I leave it up for about 1 month and then I take it down. Is that okay?
Yep, that works.
Not to mean to put you on the spot there.
That works.
But this way here. So if you do miss it or you want to audit it the first night and then want to try it, you have to wait to get your pattern packet in. I'm sure it's not going to just come like that with the post office the way it is.
And don't forget about the February or the March webinar, because there's also Make It Take It's on there too.
Yes. Are you doing that?
Yes.
Do you have the piece to show?
I do not have the piece, but it's little gingerbreads, but in chalk art. So that'll be fun.
So yeah, so the convention is March 16th through 21. She is one of the artists who will be doing her it's goody goody gumdrops.
Goody goody gumdrops.
and she will be doing that, as well as doing a Make It and Take It, where you can, like any other convention, instead of buying the packet right there at the convention, you can order it online in advance, have it ready, and then paint with them. Those will be videos on a private Facebook group for people who have registered for convention. So we are going to be having an open house on Monday night. Are you going to be able to join us on Monday night?
Yep, I will put that in. I'll be there.
Yeah, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And we are going to hopefully have enough of, many of the artists who are going to be at the convention, because we're opening registrations on Friday, the 27th, Black Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll open up registrations for the public. So thank you all for joining us. What time on Friday? 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. This was fun. My knees aren't knocking anymore.
It wasn't that bad. I didn't ask very hard questions.
Oh, I get so nervous.
But you did an excellent job. Everyone here loves you, and I love you. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for being a part of the Artful Webinar family. Yeah. So everyone, have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to stop back here in this group tomorrow night with me. And all you need is a ball, an ornament, and some either cardstock or canvas paper, and some paint that coordinates with your ornament. And then you can then join Amy on Friday night. Both tomorrow night and Friday night is 7 p.m. Eastern. So have a great rest of your week if you don't stop in live, and you can watch the replays. And take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Take care. Bye-bye.